when they told us we couldn't go, they also told us we couldn't get back to New York.
Claudia had landed her dream job with Farmers Travel Guides. Although she was stranded in Jamaica, Claudia decided to make the best of it and then get back to New York as soon as possible.
So, Elias, where you come from?
We're from New York.
Claudia made friends with Anthony Gwynn, one of the resort's bartenders. She was a big fan of reggae music, and Gwynn reportedly offered to take her to a nearby club.
She told me that she had gone out with one of the bartenders, which turns out to be Anthony Grant.
Well, okay, so you remember the bar.
Tanya managed to book a flight back to New York, and Claudia was supposed to catch a later flight. They agreed to meet up once Claudia returned.
I think I'm going to be able to find somebody that can raid my house.
Claudia was reportedly last seen by a lifeguard on a local beach away from the resort. Then she disappeared.
She didn't.
When her parents found out that she hadn't shown up for work, they called the resort.
Call her mother.
Hotel mates had reported Claudia missing after noticing that she hadn't slept in her bed for several days. But everything in her room seemed normal. All her clothes except one bathing suit were neatly packed away in her suitcase. Her passport, credit card, cell phone, and $180 cash were recovered from the hotel safe.
Probably the most devastating piece of news initially was that her belongings were removed. I mean, we would rather have heard that some of her things were missing, and then we would have thought maybe she went somewhere else.
When we heard the news that Claudia's things were all in her room and they didn't know where she was, that's not Claudia. Claudia is a really organized, orderly person. If she was planning to go on somewhere, she would have made a phone call. She would have let us know. We felt very early on that something happened to her, and that something just was not right.
Claudia's parents were on the next plane to Jamaica.
I wonder if you could tell me if you've seen my daughter?
They hit one dead end after another, beginning at the resort where Claudia had been staying. As a security precaution, the license plates of all vehicles entering and leaving the resort are carefully recorded in a logbook. The logbook found that Claudia disappeared cannot be found. The videotape from a surveillance camera mounted near Claudia's room had been recorded over. Room 621, the room where Claudia stayed, was cleared by housekeeping and hotel security before it could be processed for clues. Authorities had no evidence of foul play, so they began to investigate the possibility that Claudia had drowned.
It's not impossible. I would say it's highly unlikely. That area is full of deep, and the current is not very strong. And if something should go wrong with someone there, the body will be found easily.
News of Claudia's disappearance spread through Jamaica. Many sightings of a woman fitting her description began to suggest another possibility. Many local residents believe that Claudia may have chosen to run away to live in the hills with a Jamaican mother.
We know she wouldn't do that. She had no reason to escape, as has been said. She loved her life, her family, her friends, her new apartment. Everything was going right for her, so there was nothing to escape. We got a call that Claudia went off with the rest of the man in some hills in Jamaica. We have checked several areas. We have spoken to a number of Rastafarians. Everything cool.
Alrighty. We just want some help from her.
In fact, we have gone to an area where the report says she was developed. And there's no information to suggest that Claudia Kershaw was ever seen in that area.
If you ever see her or hear anybody say anything about her, you know it's fine. Where is she at? Show me.
Frustrated by the progress of the investigation, Claudia's parents brought in the FBI and an American search and rescue team. According to a canine handler in the case, his dog tracked Claudia's scent to the home of Anthony Grant, the bartender. The dog hit on a pair of boots, a pair of gloves, and a knife.
Bingo.
While searching Grant's car, the dog also seemed to hit on Claudia Kershak's scent in the back seat and the trunk.
The articles found boots, knife, and tear that made at the trunk of the car was removed by the FBI evidence response team. It was taken to the FBI forensic laboratory's case. It was checked for signs of human blood, but it was found.
Anthony Grant was investigated and polygraphed, but the results were inconclusive. At this time, Grant is not considered a suspect in Claudia Kershak's disappearance.
We interviewed him for 7 weeks. We just don't find enough evidence to, in any way, believe that Grant is
Bugger, Dusty. Gotta love a Dusty. He's a special kitty.
Traveled 3,000 people.
Yes, yes, he is.
Believed that Anthony Grant, the bartender,
You
actually
guys
introduced her to someone who has a much better idea what happened. I believe Anthony Grant probably knows something as well.
You know, she could be anywhere.
The
Look
Kershaks
at
are
this
still
pretty
looking for
kitty.
their daughter.
He's so
and
special.
$50,000 reward. In this case,
Always good.
if you have any information on the disappearance of Claudia Kershak, please log on to our website at unsolved.com.
Unsolved.dusty.
The legendary treasure of Dutch Schultz. It might be in upstate New York, just waiting to be found.
Award-winning series dig into the cold cases, surprising revelations, and search for justice on true crimes.
My cell phone bill kept going up. I started looking around. What are our other options? With Consumer Cellular, I'm saving over $50 a month. Same coverage, same data, same talk, same cell phone. Simple.
So why am I paying way more for a big wireless plan? What am I getting for my money?
Consumer Cellular gives you the same fast, reliable nationwide network for up to half the cost of the wireless.
Same tower, same coverage.
I feel like people should know that.
They cut my bill just about in half. I'm saving almost $100 a month.
That's over $1,000 a year.
Not only did I save money, but our coverage was vastly improved. It was fantastic.
There's got to be a catch.
Dusty-tastic. Are you my fantastic kitty? Are you my fantastic boy?
Primarily the 50-plus market.
Are you my fantastic little boy?
Use a lot less data. We can then set our prices.
You my fantastic little boy. You're my fantastic little boy. You are, aren't you?
Oh, I love that.
Look at this fantastic little man.
Wireless.
You are a fantastic little man.
With Consumer Cellular, it's about $100.
Our customers rate us #1 in network coverage satisfaction. And there's no long-term contracts.
When I look at what I have with Verizon, I'm not sure what I was.
You're a fantastic, handsome man.
You can keep your number, no problem. Want to bring your phone?
Who?
That's great too.
You.
We'll have you wrapped up in about 20 minutes. Really?
Dusty's the fantastic little man. You're the fantastic, handsome one.
Switch Pros can cut your bills by up to half. That's right, up to half. When you call right now, you'll even save an additional $25. Just use the code SAVE25 and AARP members save even more. Call 1-800-820-3668. That's 1-800-820-3668. NetCredit is here to say yes. Even when other lenders won't. Apply online in minutes and get funds deposited the next business day or sooner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
I wish I could pay for live sports for just one day and not the whole month. Slim lets you do that.
I wish I could finish one sentence without some man.
Any other wishful thinkers?
Did you hear me?
Introducing Passes. Get live TV for the day, week, or weekend, starting at $4.99. Sling lets you do that.
Don't know who can clean this? Thumbtack knows.
recommendations for every kind of home project. Hire the right pro today.
miles north of New York City, two shadowy figures led along the banks of a creek on a moonless night. The man doing all the work is Bernard Rosencrantz, nicknamed Lou. His boss, Schultz. King, the New York underworld. According to the legend, the Dutchman buried a strongbox that night. It contained cash, bonds, diamonds, and gold coins. Today, it all started when Prohibition was passed in 1819. The manufacture and distribution of bootleg liquor made millions for gangsters like Blake's Diamond, Lucky Luciano, Al Capone, and Dutch Schultz. Schultz, whose real name was Arthur Flagenheimer, was one of the toughest.
Dutch Schultz was a very successful and widespread bootlegger, owned a string of speakeasies, and then quickly branched out into narcotics, the numbers racket, and the protection racket. Schultz was an extremely dangerous gangster. He was reported to have had 136 people killed, and that's over a criminal career of less than 10 years.
At the end of the Roaring '20s, Dutch Schultz's criminal empire was making more than $20 million a year, and the IRS knew it. He was indicted by a grand jury for income tax evasion, and that's when the Dutchman took steps to protect his money.
At the time, Dutch Schultz was facing a long prison sentence, and he decided that he needed a nest egg to fall back on in case he was sent to prison. So he had his top lieutenants clean out his safety deposit boxes and gather together whatever cash they could from his available bank accounts.
Beautiful. Looks good for us.
At a hideaway in Connecticut, Dutch, Lulu Rosencrantz, and a man named Marty Krompier packed bundles of thousands of bills, negotiable Liberty bonds, gold coins, diamonds, and other gems into a steel-plated strongbox.
Come on. Go get me something to drink.
Dutch Schultz had the only key. That night, Dutch and Lulu traveled to Phoenicia, New York, a town Dutch knew from his bootlegging days. The Dutchman swore Lulu to secrecy, and then supposedly marked the site by carving an X into the trunk of a nearby tree. But Lulu couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told his friend Marty Krompier where the treasure was buried.
I shouldn't tell you this, but I think it'd be good for somebody else to know.
Know what?
Maybe that strong box.
Some say that Lulu even drew Marty a map about it.
I ain't gotta worry about you doing anything stupid, do I?
Me and the Dutchman were like this, and he's gonna take care of me.
Listen, Mom.
Rumors of Dutch's secret treasure filtered through New York. But the Dutchman had other problems. Manhattan DA Thomas E. Dewey was determined to further his political career by destroying Dutch Schultz and his illegal empire. Schultz finally surrendered to authorities in Albany, New York. His first trial ended with a hung jury. At his second trial, he was acquitted of all charges. Some suspected jury tampering. After the acquittal, Dutch Schultz moved his headquarters to a tavern he owned in Newark, New Jersey, the Palace Chop House. And then he went on a bloody killing spree to regain control of his empire. And that angered the powerful New York crime syndicate.
The syndicate was a confederation of New York City mobsters who controlled virtually all the crime in the area. And they were very afraid that he was heaped upon them with these killings.
The syndicate took steps to turn down the heat.
The big roller.
Dutch Schultz died at 8:35 p.m. on October 24th, 1935, almost 22 hours after he had been shot. He was just 33 years old. His bodyguard, Lulu Rosencrantz, died hours earlier, and that left only one man who knew where the treasure was buried, Marty Frompier.
The night of the Chop House murders, two henchmen caught up with Marty at a barber shop in New York City, gunned him down and took the map. Frompier survived the attack, but he was never able to locate the treasure without the map. Jake Shapiro made several attempts at finding the treasure from the map, as did several other gangsters of the era, but none were successful.
If people knew about it, Schultz's closest associates, they told other people. I would suspect strongly that it had been retrieved long before now.
I personally believe the treasure of Dutch Schultz was buried, and there's a good possibility that it still exists today. Because even though the Liberty bonds have long since matured in the last 60 plus years, none have ever been redeemed.
Perhaps the Dutchman's treasure is still buried in upstate New York. If so, someone who finds a tree with an X carved into it might just hit the jackpot. Next, voodoo at a modern-day hospital in a last-ditch attempt to save a dying patient.
If you are covered by both Medicare and your state's Medicaid and are experiencing a change in your Medicaid coverage status, now's a great time to consider a United Healthcare Dual Complete plan. It could give you even more benefits than original Medicare. To find out if you are eligible, it's easy. Call now to talk with us. We can help answer your questions. Medicaid gives you benefits, and Medicare gives you some too. But a Dual Complete plan can help you get more of the extras you want. You'll have $0 copays for Tier 1 prescriptions, as well as $0 annual physical exams, lab tests, and preventive care. And you can earn rewards for healthy activities. And to make things easier, there's the U-Card, only from United Healthcare. It's your member ID and so much more. Use your credit on your U-Card every month to help pay for over-the-counter products, plus healthy food and utilities for qualified members. All for a $0 monthly plan premium. If you have Medicare and Medicaid, you could get a Dual Complete plan. So call now to talk with us. Our Medicare plan experts can help find the right coverage for you. We know healthcare can be confusing. United Healthcare can help straighten things out. And with over 45 years of experience, count on us to be there every step of the way. With Dual Complete, you'll have access to a large network of Medicare Advantage providers, including doctors and specialists, plus $0 copays for Tier 1 prescriptions. And use the credit on your U-Card to help pay for over-the-counter products, plus healthy food and utilities if you qualify. All for a $0 monthly plan premium. If you have both Medicare and Medicaid, learn more about America's most chosen dual special needs plans. Experiencing a change in your Medicaid coverage status? Call or click to connect now and see how you can get comprehensive and affordable coverage with United Healthcare Dual Complete Plan.
This is important news for women who were implanted with surgical mesh, scaffolding, or an internal bra during breast reconstruction or augmentation surgery. Many women implanted with surgical mesh, sometimes called scaffolding or an internal bra, during breast surgery have suffered complications, including infection, delayed wound healing, mesh migration or movement, mesh erosion, breast deformities, scarring, and reconstruction failure. A significant number of patients require additional surgeries to address these complications. If you or a loved one was implanted with surgical mesh, scaffolding, or an internal bra during breast augmentation or reconstruction surgery and have experienced complications, including the need for a second surgery, call the law offices of Davis and Crump to see if you qualify for a cash award and medical expenses. Again, if you or a loved one was implanted with surgical mesh, scaffolding, or an internal bra during breast augmentation or reconstructive surgery and have experienced complications, call the law offices of Davis and Crump to see if you qualify for a cash award and medical expenses. Call the law offices of Davis and Crump right now. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
With 24/7 award-winning series, dig into the cold cases, surprising revelations, and search for justice on true crimes.
The word voodoo brings to mind dark rituals and mysterious spells. But in the story you are about to see, two medical doctors create their own voodoo ceremony in a last-ditch effort to save a dying man. Dallas, Texas. Dr. Larry Dossier was a young intern when a patient came to him with a mysterious illness.
Losing weight, right? Some pain anywhere?
Not really. Sometimes when I cough.
Okay. We're going to run some tests. We're going to do some blood tests, some x-rays, that sort of thing. We're going to find out what your problem is, okay?
I embarked on an elaborate evaluation, a medical workup to uncover the cause of the problem. And this man's chart just began to get thicker and thicker with normal tests.
Mr. Bennett, I don't understand it. I run every test I know how. I performed every exam I know how, and they all come up normal. How do you feel?
Not good.
No, you don't look good. I just don't know what to do.
Dr. Dossier called in a colleague, Dr. William Hensley, for a consultation.
And I wanted to come see you to find out possibly anything that you know of unusual has happened to you.